Hey friends, I'm Itava Metalove here. I just want to make a really quick video for you about anxiety and the biggest major cause of anxiety in people. I've seen this again and again in people and in myself, and that's why I can speak on this because I've done it, I've been there, and I'm still pulling myself out of it, but I'm, you know, a lot of the way through it. So the biggest cause for anxiety is undereating. You'll notice that people with severe anxiety tend to be underweight, myself included. I've gained, like 30 pounds, believe it or not, even though I'm thin from my lowest weight. And you'll notice the people that have the most severe anxiety, severe crippling anxiety, tend to be severely underweight. And what happens is people with anxiety, there's a study, I don't have the exact quote, but it was something like 70% of people with anxiety skip breakfast. And if we don't eat breakfast, like a meaningful breakfast, and I still got to work on it. I have a smoothie every day, and it's still not enough. I need to actually eat more. I should probably eat like a bagel or something, a whole wheat bagel or something with it, just get some extra calories. I put avocados in my smoothie, which I don't have right now, but so I'm gonna eat something more after this. So what happens is it's like a car. You literally can't drive your car unless you have enough fuel in it. But what happens with your body is you can drive it without fuel, and your body will produce adrenaline and just keep you going because it's gonna do whatever. Because it if you don't have enough food in your belly and in your muscles and in your your whole system, enough glucose, enough glycogen, your body is like hunting for food. So it's like, I need more food. I need more food right now. So it starts spazzing out and it starts giving you a lot of emotional problems, and it's because your body's in an emergency mode, so you become oversensitive in a big way. Emotions become very difficult to regulate. You get burning. I get this, anyways. You get burning, you get mental fire. Your body's on fire because it's being shot up with adrenaline, which is like a drug, and it's just going on overdrive, and so the mind is just going crazy. So it doesn't have enough grounding, rooted heft to keep the body going. You know what I mean? And the muscles are being depleted. The muscles are, like the muscles are atrophying and becoming weaker. The body doesn't have enough strength physically. So, it's just totally in panic mode. And you sort of learn to cope and adapt and manage that on a day to day life, but it becomes this chronic thing, this chronic cycle. So until the food gets in order, it's very difficult to do any exercise because you don't have enough strength. You don't have enough glucose. So you're tired all the time. You got pain because your muscles and your joints are all in pain, and it starts putting pressure on your nerves. So until the food is in order, it's the foundation like that we all have to have. And a lot of people are concerned about their weight, but I'm talking specifically about people like me, um, and many other people that I know that have severe anxiety problems. It's because of the food. It's because you're not eating enough calories. And I highly recommend getting MyFitnessPal app on your phone and just do the pain in the ass work for at least a week and just see how much you're getting. But don't wait to change. Don't wait to see that you're undernourished, because you're already undernourished. If you're too thin, I'm undernourished. I don't typically get enough calories, but I every day. It's a lot better than it was. Like I said, I gained about 30 pounds. But I'll tell you, until I started eating more in the morning, and the days I don't, I have anxiety. So the other thing I want to talk about is a lot of people use cannabis to deal with anxiety, and it can be effective. But the problem is what happens with a lot of people that use cannabis. They use too much, and they're using it to cover up the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of pain, the burning, the whatever. And then when they really should have had food and exercise, so you have to have enough food. You got to put enough gas, and it can take a couple of weeks to get your glycogen stores up. So you got to eat a lot, to get your stores of glycogen in your muscles up so you can handle the exercise. But you can still do something. But ideally, you got to get people with anxiety, they have their heart racing, and then that makes them feel anxiety. And some people will smoke weed and feel like that's the answer, but a lot of times it's because they're smoking too much weed that caused the heart racing, or their adrenals are so fried from under eating and being inactive, that any little stress, even if it's imperceptible, can trigger your heart to go racing. So it's like managing the symptoms of anxiety with something that's causing anxiety. So weed is it's good. It can help, but man, if you're taking anything more than a microdose on a daily basis, uh, it's way too much. Nobody needs to be smoking weed every single day. A lot of people do it because they enjoy it. Personally, I don't like it. I want to be clear. Um, the amount that I take is so small, like it's like it's just the tiniest little bit, and that's all you need. You just gradually increase until you find the dose where you're not getting high and you're getting the relief from the anxiety, but don't use it as a crutch, because that's what people with anxiety do that smoke weed or take edibles, is they're trying to manage their symptoms with cannabis when they really should be managing their symptoms by giving the body the resources it needs to stop it from being in this panic mode, because that's what the body's doing. It's in emergency mode. It's like, I need food right now. I'm out of food. I don't know what to do. So the mind will start creating all these problems in your personal lives. It'll start becoming oversensitive. You're way more susceptible to PTSD when you're undernourished, uh, and that's just a fact. So everyday problems that everybody else can brush off, you have a hard time with because you're not eating enough food, not getting enough exercise. Your muscles are weak. You know what I mean? Your body's weak because it doesn't have enough energy. And we all need energy, and there's only so long. Like, we could do it when we were younger, and we could get away with it. We could survive without food, but as you get into your 30s and 40s, for sure, uh, you can't do it anymore. The body says no. The body's like, nope, 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 and I'm gonna give you a million signals and make you totally freak out until you see it, because the body can't directly communicate with the mind. It can only communicate with the mind through feeling, and so it freaks out your feeling. So everything will startle you. Everything will make you afraid. Everything will worry you. You know what I mean? And you'll have pain, physical pain. And every pain, physical or emotional, is a signal to change, is a signal to heal. It's a signal to say something's not right and I need to make a change right now, because it's giving you an emergency signal. It's saying something needs to change right now. So what can you do? First, eat food, and eat a lot of it. Don't worry about gaining weight. Gain some weight. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's better to be a little bit fat than to be underweight and have tons of anxiety and be totally crippled. Secondly, uh, you know, get some movement. Like move around. Like, your chi, your energy has to flow. So if you're not moving every day, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's so true. The older you get, more and more you'll realize that's the case. If you do not move, you are going to lose your mobility. That's just how it works. Movement equals mobility. You know what I mean? That's where it comes from. So if you don't move, you're like a standing like pond. It just becomes filled with scum and disease, and it's undrinkable. It's not, you know what I mean? But you know, if your water's flowing, it's going to be clear. You know what I mean? It's brushing away all the toxins, and the lymphatic system has to be moved manually. There is no pump internally like the blood or the respiratory system. The lymphatic fluids surround every single cell, and what they do is, it's this clear fluid that brings nutrients to the cells, and it takes the toxins away. So if you're not physically moving, um, that process just can't occur. So you can do it by deep breathing. So yeah, like 15 deep breaths, a bunch of times in a row. But really, you got to move. Really, you got to, exercise. Got to get the heart rate up. Got to get the circulation going. And you'll notice when you get your blood pumping, pains start to go away. Maybe it's difficult in the beginning. Maybe it's hard because you're out of shape. But if you don't, you'll never get there. So it's like you have to be willing to have some pain before you get the progress. But you will feel more pain from the muscle pain, but it's worth it. Just don't push it so insanely hard. Like, don't go from 0 to 100. Go from 0 to 10, and then The next week go from 0 to 20. Next week go 0 to 30. But the whole time, the foundation of eating enough food, quality food, and just mainly getting calories is really important. Getting enough sleep is really important. So people with anxiety do the same things. We all do the same things. So if you look at it, look at the people around you, and I've observed, I've healed myself more from looking at how some of my friends have been acting and treating their bodies, and I'm trying to share what I've learned from observing my own life. You know what I mean? So I've observed that when I don't eat, I have anxiety. When I don't eat early enough in the day, I have anxiety. I had really bad insomnia for I don't even know how long. Could have been a week, could have been a month. I was so out of it because I couldn't sleep because my body got into such an emergency state that I would sleep for 45 minutes and I wake up with the most energy I'd ever had in my life, complete clarity, completely perfectly awake, zero sleepiness from a dead sleep because my body was like, whoa, you are so critically low on energy because you're so underweight. If you look at my old videos, you'll see I was wicked underweight. I wasn't loving myself. I wasn't caring for myself. And, regardless of what you've been through in your life, your traumas and whatever, you gotta love yourself on this basic level or you're gonna flounder and die. You're gonna end up in a wheelchair. You're gonna end up, and then what ends up happening is you end up becoming a burden on all your friends and family, and then it becomes hard for everyone. So it's like we have to take this basic stand and say, you know what? I'm going to do this because I want to have a good life. And if I don't take care of myself, I'm not going to have a good life. And I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be depressed. I mean, if you don't eat enough carbohydrates, for example, you can't produce enough serotonin because it's precursor to tryptophan and serotonin. So you've got to get enough carbohydrates. People are obsessed about this ketogenic diet, but like, I'm talking about quality carbohydrates. I'm talking about fruits and vegetables. So, anyways, that's all I got to say. Take care of yourselves. I just wanted to share this. I know it's a little bit scattered and not, I'm just making this quick before I go out. I'm going out canvassing for the PPC to try to get our freedoms back. And I just wanted to share that because this is a problem that I've had, for a long time. And I know the solution. And if you're thin, and you're having severe anxiety problems, agoraphobia, PTSD, not everybody has PTSD in the same way, and that's because people that have dysregulated nervous systems, people that smoke too much weed, it dysregulates your nervous system. People that don't eat enough, that dysregulates your nervous system. Sleeping on the couch dysregulates your nervous system. Not getting enough exercise dysregulates your nervous system. Not just doing things that you enjoy and love and smiling and being happy dysregulate. So we all have to do things that we need to do, and it's hard because we don't learn that. Sometimes we grow up in dysfunctional families, and then you're just trying to survive, and then you just want to have a little bit of joy after work or whenever, and you just want to relax, and you want to watch a show, or you want to do whatever. And sometimes those things are like putting your actual needs last. So it's like we have to put our basic needs first. If you got to make a checklist, make a checklist, because all the supplements in the world aren't going to make up for a calorie deficit and a lack of exercise. So meditation can really help, but what I found is I was meditating and I was getting great results, but then my body got in a position where it was so in disrepair from lack of food and lack of exercise that the meditation wasn't even working anymore, and it was like I was just dipping into and then I had a trauma. My dad died, and it traumatized me because I wasn't ready for it. I didn't. There's a lot of problems with me and my dad, and we never resolved them, and that traumatized me. So I got some PTSD from that. And then I went into a relationship with an alcoholic, and I was in this heightened state of panic all the time already. And I sort of got it under control by taking GABA supplements, but that didn't work for the long term. It did for the short term. But then, I was under eating again, and then I was in this heightened state of awareness from being with an alcoholic who's just destabilizing all of our lives because she's drinking and getting wasted, and I have to follow her and prevent her from going to the liquor store, and I'd have to protect her kids, and I'd have to try to rebuild the business and try to get my life in order, and I couldn't do it. you know, it was too much. So, but the foundation wasn't there. The foundation of eating enough food wasn't there. Um, and getting enough physical exercise wasn't there. I was doing stretching. The problem is if you stretch and your muscles are weak already, you're just pulling on, like, it's like pulling on dead grass. You know what I mean? It just comes right out of place. There's no strength. You know what I mean? You got to have the nourishment to build yourself up first, and then, you know, like, do the exercise, but just go slow in the beginning and give yourself a target. By this date, I will get up to this weight as much as possible. You know what I mean? I'm not going to push myself to the point where I kill myself. If you're underweight, your tendons are going to be really sensitive. So you got to go easy in the beginning. Do some static stuff. Do some lightweight. You know, just work out smart. But definitely work out. Don't be afraid of a little bit of pain. Just don't overdo it. Just, you know, really easy for a couple of weeks. Takes about 6 weeks before your tendons can kind of get strong. So just, you know, say 6 weeks, I'm going to go easy. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit more. And then, you know what I mean? You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You know, you're just enough to get some strength. So, anyways, I love you guys. Take care. There's someone in particular I want to hear this message, and I hope she has. This message is for you in particular, because this is what you need to hear, and this is what you need to do to turn your life around and save your life. We all need to take care of ourselves. There's, you know, it's a really hard life as it is, but it gets infinitely harder if we are not doing the things we need to do to take care of ourselves, and if we're covering it up with, you know, too much weed, or, you know, too much sleep, or, you know, just not getting enough exercise, because that's a form of coping that you know, can help you out in the moment but can hurt you in the long term, because laying around and getting high all the time, that's not a healthy recipe for a healthy life. Don't beat yourself up. You know, just realize it hasn't been working. Even if I've made some progress, even if I'm in a better place before, look, it's not working. You know, not eating enough food is clearly a problem. You got to eat it early in the day. Early in the day. As soon as you get up, within an hour, got to be getting food in. Sufficient calories. Most of your calories should be finished by 1 or 2 p.m. at the latest. Most of the calories of the day should be in you. You filled up your tank. And then if you're excuse me, if you're having insomnia problems, trouble sleeping, don't reach for the weed. Reach for some nuts. You know, because if you can't sleep, it's, you know, probably a couple of sources, a couple of reasons. Sometimes I've used it when I have to get up for work, but man, getting totally wasted is ridiculous. It's not appropriate. Just sleep. You know what I mean? Do some exercise, do some stretching, do some meditation, eat some food. Don't be afraid of eating food before bed. Like, it's not ideal, but it's better to eat before bed and have the calories to make it through the night and have some reserves for the morning than to smoke weed and just try to bury it and force yourself to sleep. The reason why we can't sleep is because our sleep patterns are disrupted. I work shift work, which is difficult, but you know, this is a reminder for myself too. Like, eat more food. So I'm gonna finish my smoothie, and I'm gonna have something else, and then I'm gonna go out canvassing for the PPC. Take care, guys. Peace.